Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
But just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content. Yeah, personally.
Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
You
don't.
can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a
my
second.
following.
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
Well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen the for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Will you tell me who and where and when?
Ordinary Britons in restaurants,
How
in
many?
cabs.
How many?
I would say at least 1 in 2.
I'm sorry, it's an expression I've never heard. Tell me who has said it to you, when,
These are
where.
people that we meet in passing.
But
and we
of course you
obviously
cannot
raise
say
the
who
question
or
of
where.
the state of their country with them. And they tell us, yes, we have a tough Prime Minister, but she's a little bit pig-headed. She won't be told by anybody.
Isn't this interesting? Even the tone of voice you're using is changing from what you used earlier.
What a day.
Everything breaks at the seams, and you feel like you're losing belief. Damn it, you just gotta stay strong when it all falls apart and goes wrong. When you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on. Well, damn it, you just gotta stay strong, 'cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong.
Well, the BBC hasn't wasted any time to begin to slam social media, Rumble, X, or formerly known as Twitter, with basically, especially now that we're getting close to the elections on our end of the world, basically, you know, they're pushing these analysis and stuff that, you know, a study and stuff like that. But when you look at the study itself, there's no examples. They throw these fancy little graphs, these little graphs in this situation to say, well, look, this is where the disinformation is. What is the disinformation that they're talking about? What is it? Can you tell me what it is? And they'll tell you that, well, you know, this person says, well, about the injections and stuff like that. So we'll prove them wrong. It's not disinformation. It's an opinion. There's a difference between opinion and disinformation. Disinformation comes from the mainstream media and our politicians directly, because what they're telling us is that this, you know, it's literally out of Orwell, is that you must obey, you must believe what we're telling you. You know, we have to have a healthy conversation on many different subjects. But we're going to get into this immediately with this joke of an article from BBC News. Disinformation most active on X, formerly known as Twitter, EU says. X, formerly Twitter, has the biggest proportion of disinformation of the 6 big social networks, a European Commission study suggested. It examined over 6,000 unique social media posts across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and YouTube. The study analyzed content in 3 countries deemed particularly at risk to disinformation: Spain, Poland, and Slovakia. Slovakia? Why would they choose that? Why wouldn't they choose China? Why wouldn't they choose Russia? Because basically they don't want you to know what's going on there. Continuing on, the BBC has approached X for a comment. My message for X is you have to comply with the hard law. We'll be watching what you're doing, the EU Values and Transparency Commissioner Vera Journa warned. Yeah, this is the obsession these guys have with trying to take over the world. The disinformation study, which was prompted Ms. Journa's comments, covered Spain, Portugal, and countries at risk of being targeted disinformation due to elections or proximity to the war in Ukraine. Yeah, shall we talk about the elephant in the room over in Canada by them praising a Nazi war criminal? From what I understand, all you had to do was Google the guy's name, and Poland is asking for extradition. The platform with the largest ratio of discovery of disinformation, meaning that the proportion of sensitive content made up of disinformation, was Twitter. YouTube had the lowest, study suggested. The study was carried out by Trustis Lab. Now, guys, do go check this out because it's such a joke. A disinformation monitoring startup as part of work to support the EU's Code of Practice on Disinformation. X then called Twitter, along with many other social networks, signed up voluntarily code in 2018. But the company withdrew from the code while under Mr. Musk's leadership. X will, however, be subject to the EU's Digital Service Act, which regulates the conduct of the largest platforms. The EU intends to turn the voluntary code into a code of conduct under the Act. No, they're trying to do the same thing what the UK has already done. Censorship, intrusion. They want to take over their global new world order.
Remember why they need us.
Mr. Musk knows that he's not off the hook by leaving the code of practice because we have the Digital Service Act fully enforced, Ms. Journa said. Companies that fail to comply with the act could face fines up to 6% of the global turnover. In September, the EU accused social media companies of failing to stop large-scale Russian disinformation campaigns since the invasion of Ukraine. It said that the reach and influence of the Kremlin-backed accounts has grown further in 2023. Why not go after those particular accounts, not the websites? On Tuesday, Ms. Journa said the Russian state has engaged in the war of ideas to pollute our information space with half-truths and lies to create a false imagery that democracy is no better than autocracy. Russia was aiming at a multi-million euro weapon of mass manipulation at the Europeans, and the large social media platforms had to address the risk. She added, the threat was particularly seriously because of the war in Ukraine and the upcoming European elections, Ms. Journa said. Yeah, of course, it's around when the elections are coming out. The commission also noted the work was underway on tackling AI-generated disinformation ahead of the election. She said she will be meeting with representatives of OpenAI on Tuesday to talk about it. This article is a total joke because they have given no, and you notice with these articles. Here's the difference between an article put out by one of us on the independent end, from the post-millennial or maybe bounding into comics. They show the receipts. They show the text messages. They showing you what is there, what people are saying.
Show me the receipts.
What these guys telling you is, well, we know that there's misinformation. I'm surprised they didn't use Trump in this article. I'm really surprised. Because basically you have people out there, and we've already seen this with Russell Brand. We've seen this with some of the people that are involved with the child trafficking movie, The Sound of Freedom. I think one gentleman that was accused of kidnapping and sexual abuse and stuff like that was, the court found it unfounded. There was no evidence to the nature. But we haven't heard that on the mainstream media. No, not at all. What we've heard is that basically Russell Brand is bad, Rumble is bad, X is bad. Those of us, who are, small channels, we don't know what we're talking about. That basically we're just new to the platform, that we just put ourselves together. So let me tell you something. I've been in this business since the 1980s, on and off, and I always find that they've, when it comes to competition, the mainstream media tries to push you out. They try to tell lies about you, or they get the main companies that you work with to kick you off the air by materializing lies against you. Now, what's going on in the Russia and the Ukraine is a nightmare within itself. There are no good guys or bad guys in this. Everyone is guilty in that situation, including our own U.S. government. We're funding a war that does not need to be funded. And the thing about it is, it's people making money in their pockets. That's where it comes down to it. And this is what they will not tell you. They'll tell you, it's disinformation that this, the Russians are saying they're trying to take over. Yeah, the Russians are trying to take over with the Crimea and all that. But also, what is Ukraine doing as well? There are people that have been asking these questions for many years now, especially when it comes to Joe Biden and his family. And they said, well, it's just misinformation. It's disinformation. It's Russian. Every day, a new article is printed out with evidence to the fact that basically is putting the light on the truth in what's going on in our own White House, what's going on in the Ukraine, what's going on in Russia. Every day. We saw what happened in Canada. They praised a Nazi, an actual Nazi. This guy is a war criminal, a Ukrainian man who was with the SS back in the day. 98 years old. Poland is asking for his extradition right now. The head speaker has resigned. Is the head of Canada going to resign as well? No, he's going to continue on there. His rampant racism, his push to literally turn the country similar to a Nazi regime, because that's what he's headed for. You've seen the bills that they're pushing in that country, the arrests of religious leaders, of the media, the attacks on individuals directly. You've seen this happen. All you got to do is watch Rebel News. But meanwhile, they'll push, and I keep saying this, and when it comes to articles about pornography, they say, it's a sickness and stuff like that. These are the articles that they keep putting out daily. Understand that. These are the articles they put out, and every day there's always some new article out that is telling you that this is the way it is, and it's a total lie. And they won't let us mention that. But who am I to say? Probably is the misinformation, de-information of a madman with a show.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please comment, like, and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have that ability to help support this and many other channels. Especially now more than ever, since the passing of a new law in the United Kingdom that will diminish the reach of many channels and affect our advertisers. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are 2 links in the description below. The first will send you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirt, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.